environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
You ready?
Come on! It's the Queen of Royal Badness.
It's time for the Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. You are listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I'm your host, Robin Ayers, with you Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. On your drive home or already at home or wherever you are. I hope you are having a fantastic Wednesday. I know I am. Thank God I am having a great day. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, listen, shout out to SZA. That's her song right there. And she's, she's having a very lovely birthday from what I'm understanding. She's having a great birthday. So good for her. Happy birthday, SZA. Listen, today's conversation, I dedicate this to men. But I specifically want to dedicate this to all Black men. This is a really good conversation, and I'm looking forward to having this. Actually, there's a couple of topics that we'll get into, but this, the main topic today, I just want some understanding. I really want some understanding. This is not the first time that we've heard about this conversation about mental health among the Black community, but is in particular with Black men. So I want to get some understanding. If you want to call in at any point today and you want to jump in on this conversation, maybe you have an opinion about something, you want to weigh in, just give your thoughts, maybe an experience or something like that, you are free to do so. You can call us at 1-800-920-1580. And you can also join us over in our YouTube chat right now, because that is where we build such a beautiful community. Everybody just comes on in during the Raw Report and joins in on the conversation. So that's open for you. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into some updates before we get into the show. I just found out about this, but sadly, Kel Mitchell from, Kenan and Kel, but Kel Mitchell is hospitalized reportedly. But I want to be clear in saying that according to a witness or whomever was there, he's doing all right. He walked in, he was alert, or I don't know that he walked in. Hold on, don't be quoting me on that. He was alert. They said he was alert. So that's great news. just, I just want goodness for everybody. So I hope Kel Mitchell is okay. We send him our love, thoughts, and prayers. And I'll keep you updated about that the more we find out for sure. But in other good news, though, SAG-AFTRA has reached a tentative agreement. That is really good news. You guys, it's been 118 days that this strike has been going on. Yeah, they need some love for that. So this is only for a 3-year deal. They will obviously... they will have to meet again at some point after this 3 years, but it looks like the strike may be over, and that is good news. That is really good news. I told you the other day, you guys, that Timbaland put his whole foot in his mouth by saying that Britney Spears needed to have a muzzle put on her when she was talking about Justin Timberlake in her new memoir. He did apologize. Some people went after him, and people don't play. Especially women. You don't talk to women or about women that way when you have such a powerful influence and in a big platform. So that was wrong of him, and he knows it because I'm sure everybody got on him, but he did apologize. So, all right, I want to get into it, but before we do, my question is of the day. Whoopi Goldberg, she says that younger people may be lazier than generations before them. I'm going to put that inside our poll, and I want you to vote on it. Andy's already nodding his head. Yes, that's how you feel, Andy? Yeah, okay. All right, he ain't afraid to say so. But let's go ahead and jump into the Raw Report. Andy, let's do it.
It's time for a breakdown.
Okay, we're talking about Adrien Broner today. Adrien Broner, the boxer. He made such a good point, okay? And he made such a good point. I really want to discuss this. I really want to get to the crux of the matter and find out. I have all kinds of questions in regards to us women. What part do we play? He says that Tyrese, Kanye West, Will Smith, he cites them as reasons that black men do not open up about their mental health. And when they're going through things, he says that is those are some of the reasons. And y'all, I can pull out all kinds of examples of when we see this happening on social media. Men choose to be vulnerable. All of a sudden, they're being ate up inside the comments. That's not okay. But I want to talk about it in a little bit deeply. Jeezy. Now, this obviously, y'all know that this is, if you pay attention at all, Jeezy, the rapper, turned entrepreneur, turned author. Wonderful. He's doing a wonderful job. He's obviously in the press because of all of that, but he's also in the press because his recently announced that he was getting a divorce from his wife, Jeannie Mai. He's sitting down with someone who is so unlikely, I felt, Nia Long, he sat down with her and he says these words, which at some point, Andy, I want to play Lil Duval, who said black men don't cheat. At some point, I want to play that because basically Jeezy is saying real ninjas don't cheat. This is what he says. We're dedicating this to men. We are going to bring in our contributor who's with us on the line on the other side. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Keep it locked right there.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Denzel Whitaker, and I'm on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. we level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
King C. Gillette knows you're dedicated to your barbershop routine, but how do you maintain the beard hair you already have? The King C. Gillette Beard Thickener helps to reduce patchiness and strengthens hair's resilience to breakage. Apply the King C. Gillette Beard Thickener daily to see a thicker and fuller beard in just 14 days. It's highly scented with King C. Gillette's signature scent. Just trim, wash, and soften. With King C. Gillette.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank. Any member FDIC.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Raw
Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, let's jump right into it. It's Wednesday. That means TK Trinidad. Do you like this one-liner that I bring you in on, TK?
I mean, look, I like being appreciated. I like having the one-liners, and I appreciate you.
And it only goes to you, by the way, because it's bars, so it only goes to you. So I appreciate you joining me for today's conversation, TK. This is one that I'm interested in having because I've noticed, obviously, we've all noticed there's so much that has gone on in the media, especially. The media just plays such an impactful role in how we view Black men and the narrative that we actually start to go with when it comes to Black men. And it's really sad. I have all kinds of questions about this. Well, recently, you guys know the boxer Adrien Broner. I've always actually had an issue with him, but my issue is mainly his behavior. He seems to act a little bit invincible. He sort of, reminds me a little bit of how Floyd Mayweather was in his younger days, just kind of like very confident, and he's a great boxer. So this is not to take anything away from him on that note. But I will say he had turned me off. But one thing that I do 100% agree with is he recently shared his there was a something that he reposted that talked about the fact that Kanye West, Tyrese Gibson, and Will Smith are reasons that men don't open up, that they don't talk about their mental health. And it's true, TK, you are in this industry as well. You know the power that the media has to number one, portray men in a certain light, but then also opens up this whole floodgate for people all over to just start joining in on these conversations and painting this narrative that Black men are weak when they try to open up, when they try to become vulnerable to us. We start clowning them. We start, and I say we, just, I don't feel this way whatsoever. I'm just standing in the place of what I see a lot, and as far as the commenters go. Give me your thoughts. And number one, I'm sure you have to agree with what Adrien Broner is, what he's putting out there, that this is a big reason why these men do not open up.
Yeah, it's a catch-22, meaning that, yes, I definitely agree. We're in this society where it's encouraging people to open up and, acknowledge mental health and all the things. But then it's also, it's kind of like a pendulum, right? Because people are talking about mental health and opening up and all this stuff. And then some people are taking advantage of that. They're using it as a crutch, right? And then you have people who, like, legitimately, they're going through all of this, and because they're men, and particularly Black men, are supposed to be this way, we, put our subconscious stereotypes onto what they should be, and therefore, we start clowning them. So it's a catch-22 because we want men to open up. Because I think if we get men to open up and talk about their feelings, there will be a little bit more understanding between men and women and just society in general. However, it's just kind of like it's a very weird place that we're in. At one point, we wanted men and pretty much everybody else to be quiet and not talk about their feelings and put in the work. Now we're in this other place where it's like, oh, talk about all your feelings, everything that's bothering you. Mental health days off 365 days a year. And so you have that. And so I think we're really trying to, the mature people, I should say, are really trying to find the balance, to acknowledge that, yes, mental health does exist. And, we can open up about our emotions, and then also, the latter. So I definitely agree. I think that's for everybody. That's the same thing. And I know we're talking mostly about men, but it's the same thing for Black women, too. Oftentimes when you're feeling a certain way, I don't know about you, but my friends, because we're really strong individuals, it's like, oh, buck up. It's like, nah, I need a moment. Can I have a moment? And, so I feel like, we're all the people who grew up in that I wouldn't say era, those type of households, we all kind of gravitate towards, just do the work. Feelings don't matter. Whereas, and then we see everybody. We saw what we did to Tyrese. I looked at him a little sideways. I didn't comment, but I did look a little, I'll admit to that. I did look a little sideways, like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there were some cases where it seemed a little extreme, like Tyrese. I think some people actually knew something was going on because it was extreme. It was just so different than what we normally see him. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that. The thought that we're telling these men to share everything. I see more of the opposite than anything else. Of course, we are in this era where we're talking about the soft life and we're talking about soft parenting, how, we're supposed to really kind of introduce that in this generation, which I agree with. I think there is a balance, by the way, because I'm right there in the middle. So I go hard with my kids, but I'm still like soft in the sense of like, we talk about things. I want to hear your opinion, and I give you, freedom to do so. Both my husband and myself, we were like, this is an open household where you can talk to us, but there are rules, there are, boundaries, things like that. But I often think that applies to women. And I don't feel like we give men the same room. I feel like we don't give them the opportunity to open up, because something that you touched on, TK, this is interesting that you mentioned it, because I had this conversation today. I'll use myself as an example. I am a very strong person. And what I mean by that is I'm the person that people come to when they are going through an issue, when they're in pain. I'm the one who, I'll wrap my arms around you, but then I guide you toward the light. I'm like, you know what, but we can't be in this tunnel forever. I got you. I'm that person. Right. So even within my own life, I'm the strong one. So it's different for anybody to see when I am in pain, and it's almost not believable. It's not really like people are catching on to it because they're not used to seeing me in a vulnerable state. With that being said, I feel like that's how we see Black men. Black men have always had to be strong. They have always had to carry the load. They have to carry their families. They gotta stay strong. They can't cry. That is the narrative that they grew up with. So anytime we see something different, it's like, whoa, hold up, homie. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with you? And we don't give them any soft place to land. And I think it is so unfair. And I think that actually needs to be talked about so much more than anything else. Yeah, it's sad. Go ahead, and before I continue, go ahead and jump in there.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I saw a post on social media where this woman was saying how men and their friendships with other men, they're not as in-depth or have substance like women do. And, how they do the side-by-sides. And this man chimed in. He's like, men oftentimes have to be the breadwinner, and they have to do all these things. And people look to them, their kids, their wife, their girlfriend or whatever, are always looking to them to be the man. And for men, and this is what he's saying. So, because, I don't know men business like that, but he's saying for men, to do the check-ins and to, sit in the barbershop and talk about something different, and to have people who don't require something from them is the best gift ever. So that's why men's relationships tend to be a lot different than women's relationships, where we might, in certain people's eyes, might require a little bit more. But men, they just don't want to be needed for something, and other men provide that because that's what, quote unquote, men do. So I definitely agree. There has to be a balance, and I feel the same way as you. I'm definitely the strong one with a lot of folks, but with therapy, and I've been in therapy for the last 3 years. With therapy, I've been really able to get in touch with my emotions and express myself, and also analyze what I'm going through so that I can express it to other people in a timely fashion and not let it eat me away. So that's been really beneficial for me because, being a strong person, people expect that. So I can now tell you, like, no, I'm not strong right now. You either can wait until I am that again, or, this is what I need from you. And sometimes I don't need anything. It's just like, I just need a moment. Like, I'm Gucci on my own. I just need a moment. I don't need you asking me for anything. And I can now really say that. And that's a good space to be in.
That's a great space to be in. And I'm happy for you. And you know what? We have to admit there is another side of this. And it's so interesting, right? When I look at the men that I know, I'm in a different age group now. So I feel like I'm not rocking with the young ones, but I'm right on the cusp. So I get them. I understand them. But the men that I know have all grown. They have all gone through some things. Life has taught them, and a lot of men that I know have either participated at some point in some form of therapy, or they're learning about therapy, and they're no longer afraid to talk about that, open up about it. But something interesting happens, though. As you get older, you really do start paying attention to the younger generation because you actually care. We care where this world is going. We care where they take it. And that's just very interesting how that happens. For me, I have 2 daughters who are getting ready to go into the world, like college, into life. They're about to live their own life. So I care about what happens to them. I care about who they hang out with, who is going to influence them in their life. And so I think about that type of thing. And because I'm in the entertainment business, I'm open, and I see a lot of these young people who are in the business and the way that they're going. And I can see, and I'm like screaming at the television or whatever. And I'm like, go to get therapy. It'll help you. But unfortunately, some of them won't. A lot of them will not. And life is going to have to teach them. They'll all get older at some point, like Charlemagne from The Breakfast Club. He's often talking about how he's in therapy, and he's proud to be in therapy, and he's changed so much of his life. He used to be a cheater. He's no longer a cheater. He says when you commit to your wife, you will, basically your entire life will change for the better. He says that's a really encourage men to go forward with this, with therapy, and to kind of get right. Before I move on, I will say this. There is again, this is talking about not having a safe place to land, specifically for Black men. They don't have a safe place to land. There was a report that I'm sure, TK, you've seen, but a singer, Brian Angel from the group Day 26. The group Day 26 was great. I mean, they had a whole television show with Diddy. Diddy signed them. They went on to do some great things. Well, anyway, a report came out that he was on some website, like child support evaders, for $200,000. He was behind on child support for $200,000. Now, that's what the headline said. I wasn't going to talk about that. I didn't even want to bring that to the Raw Report, just because I don't like to talk about things that I don't know about. I want to find out more information. I want to get receipts. I want to do some research. I want to hear other, points of views before I actually bring it to you guys and talk about it on the show. Anyway, I reached out directly to him because he went ahead and posted something in his Instagram stories. He posted it was a repost. He says, "I'm not embarrassed about anything I went through. What may be tea for you is a testimony for me. If you're going to talk about what broke me, invite me to the table so I can tell you what God did with the pieces." So that's exactly what I did. I reached out to him to invite him to the table to tell his side of the story. And the reason, and we're going to set that up, that's actually going to be an interview next week. But the reason I say that is, you see how the news, the media, once again, we have a part to play in this. Media has a big part to play. We went ahead and just gave y'all a little snippet. We gave this black man, we gave him a little snippet of something that is going on in his life, which we don't know each side of the story, but we went ahead and put that out to the public so y'all could roast him. And that's exactly what they did in the comments. They roasted that dude. They were like, you know, you broke, you this, you know, you a bum, you know, deadbeat dad and all of this stuff. And I was like, hold up. Y'all don't even know. I mean, here's the point is, it could be true. He could owe that much money. We don't know. But that's the whole point. We don't know. And we never gave this man a safe place and a soft place to land to tell his story. So that's why I invited him to the show, so that he can give his side of the story, because I think all men deserve that. And unfortunately, this social media, which is a part of media, I guess, these days, plays such a pivotal role in this really horrible narrative that we are perpetuating. You know, it's just bothersome for me. But I do want to get your take on it, TK. I want to give you the floor. I also still want to talk about this Jeezy thing, because he's talking about real ninjas don't cheat.
Well,
we're going to talk about it. Well, hold on. I want you to hold on to that and talk about it on the other side. Right now, we're going to get to some news, traffic, and sports. You are listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger, hanging out right here with my family at The Raw Report. Keep it live.
More of The Raw Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Tennessee State University has received a grant that will help research maternal mortality. The school got a 5-year grant of $2.3 million from the U.S. Health Resources and Services Administration. TSU is one of 15 HBCUs to receive the grant that will also train more Black healthcare workers. According to the CDC, the U.S. has one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the world, and Tennessee's rate is among the highest in the country. A bill designed to put millions of dollars into improving safety at Jewish schools is moving through the Florida legislature. The State House unanimously passed a measure that would provide $45 million to a variety of facilities, including Jewish day schools, to install cameras and hire security workers. Under the legislation, HBCUs could request funding for similar efforts. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Center Lane in Commerce remains blocked with an accident on the 5 South before Atlantic Boulevard, Eastern Avenue interchange, while stop traffic continues over 40 minutes from 4th Street. Over in Artesia, a crash is in the carpool and left lane of the 91 West after Pioneer Boulevard, with a stop traffic delay from Valley View Street up to 40 minutes. In Brea, fire crews are on the scene as 2 right lanes are blocked due to an accident on the 57 North before Imperial Highway. Watch for stop traffic flow coming from Nutwood Avenue.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, if you have a tape measure and a screwdriver, you can install our custom blinds and save big. Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
USC and UCLA have dropped out of this week's AP Top 25 college football rankings. This is the first time USC is unranked in the 2 seasons Lincoln Riley has been head coach. The top 5 this week: Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, and Washington. The Clippers may be looking for a center. Backup center Mason Plumlee has a sprained ligament in his left knee. He will miss the next 2 games. The Clippers send Plumlee back to L.A. for an MRI exam to determine the extent of the injury. At the moment, Ivica Zubac is the Clippers' only big man. Former Clipper forward Robert Covington represents a sad milestone. Covington is the only active player in the NBA who came from an HBCU. Covington played at Tennessee State. The 10-year veteran went to Philadelphia as part of the James Harden trade last week. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the exclusive media sponsor of this light of ours, activist photographers of the Civil Rights Movement. A dynamic new exhibition on view now at the Skirball Cultural Center in Los Angeles. This light of ours showcases more than 150 photos taken by movement insiders from diverse backgrounds that reveal the vital work undertaken by a broad coalition of organizers and everyday people whose collective action changed America. This light of ours is one of 3 temporary exhibitions currently on view at the Skirball, which together explore issues related to civil rights, immigration, and pluralism. Tickets and more information for all 3 exhibitions are available at skirball.org. That's skirball.org. SKIRBALL.org. Meet LA's most affordable health plan. This open enrollment season, LA Care Covered is proud to offer the lowest cost health plans in Los Angeles County, featuring zero-cost preventive services to help you achieve your wellness goals. Be part of the region's largest HMO network, featuring UCLA Health, Optum, and allied physicians without breaking the bank. We are here to help. Call us at 855-222-4239 for enrollment assistance. That's 855-222-4239. LA Care Covered. Your wellness, our mission.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next? And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Black men don't cheat.
Woo. I'm speaking my truth now. Woo. We speaking our truth. From a male point of view. Black men, stand up. Come on. No matter what they say or what you heard in the streets, everybody knows.
Black men don't cheat.
A lot of TLC. You are listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Listen, I interviewed Lil Duval and I asked him about this song. I'm like, listen, so black men don't cheat, huh? He said, no, you got it wrong. I'm not saying that black men don't cheat. I'm saying black men don't cheat. He had a nice little comeback. I had to fall back. Well, before we move on with our conversations and get TK Trinidad back on the line, I want to read a few of these comments because you guys are so on point. I was reading during this break. I'm like, yeah, you guys get it. Forrest Harrison says, it's true. When I'm feeling some kind of way, I just keep to myself. That is heartbreaking. I think it will be thrown back at me as a weapon in an argument. It's happened before. That breaks my heart. Deborah Chikoa, she says, agree. There are generations of men who have been told to be strong. The current trend of mental health care is relatively new. That's absolutely right. Houston, Texas says sometimes opening up turns into a setup. And we back up and close up. Oh, my goodness. Gabrielle Scott, hey, I totally agree. We have to offer that soft place to land. And when they do come and express themselves, we can't throw it back in their face. Soft and safe must be available. Come on and preach now. As a matter of fact, you know, right now, 78% of you guys do agree that, or you don't think that you don't think that men have a soft place to land in the world. And that is really, really sad. That really breaks my heart. TK, I want to turn that back over to you and give you an opportunity to talk about this because I have questions I do have questions. We may not even get to the Jeezy conversation, as a matter of fact, because if somebody wants to call in, again, 1-800-920-1580, and you can call in. I have questions, especially for Black men. And if you have some ideas as well and you want to chime in, please, by all means, do that. But TK, I turn it back over to you.
I mean, I think, like I referenced before, I've been in therapy. At first for a down part in my life, but now just more of a upkeep, meaning that I have a lot of things going on. I have multiple businesses, multiple jobs. Like, I'm from the islands. If y'all know, y'all know. And you don't want to. I personally, sometimes you just need somebody to listen to you. And so with that being said, it's really, like I said before, really assisted me in how to really talk about my feelings, know why I'm feeling a certain way. Because, sometimes you feel a certain way and you just don't know why. Mm-hmm. It's really easy for me now to pinpoint the source of it. And with doing that, now I can listen to somebody else, or now I can talk to somebody else, or now we can talk in confidence. And the whole, throwing something back in somebody's face, I don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. Like, I know the place I'm coming from. And this references back to what you were saying about social media. I feel like oftentimes the people who, are the loudest on social media or have the comments and all this other stuff, they're often coming from a hurt place. And it's kind of, I'm not the one who's preaching, oh, everybody needs to go to therapy. Everybody is different. However, if you have time to go on social media and write a paragraph about something that you don't even know about, you have time to do that, then I feel, personally, I feel like there's something within you that you feel the need to come with the negative.
Mm-hmm. I have no question about that. I mean, that is something 90% of people who are writing these comments are really unhappy with themselves. They have some sort of bitterness pent up. They have an opinion about everything. But they're trolls when they have Twitter fingers and, Twitter thumbs. That's what they call them. I agree with you. Brooke Chanel and Company says, I believe a productive and safe environment provides men a soft space to express themselves. Yeah. How do you feel about the fact that, and this is not to turn on women, but just more so, I'm opening up the conversation. Do you think if women did a better job at seeking therapy, seeking some sort of work within themselves, that they'll be open enough to be a landing spot for these men? Let's take away the therapy portion of it. Let's just say with women, if we did the work on ourselves, would that be sort of an option?
Yeah, I think, and I want to take it a step further. I think if everybody did the work on themselves, meaning that, women, we do a lot. And especially being women of color in this society, trying to, grow up in the career, be a mother, be a daughter, be a sister, be a, all the things. There's just a lot of things in society that, even from childhood, that you don't even realize are playing roles in your actions. And again, not preaching everybody needs to go to therapy, but I feel like if you can't pinpoint, for instance, why you're getting angry at a certain person, or why certain things come up and you don't know why you feel a certain way about that, then that's time to do some deep digging as far as within your emotions. And if you can't pinpoint that, that's where you would need to find help, whether it's a life coach, whether it's a therapist. Some friends are really good, but again, we're like you were referencing before, going to your strong friends all the time, your strong friends are always going to come through for you. However, it's really draining. Mm-hmm. Like, personally, everybody comes to me, and at the moments where I feel the weakest, it's really hard to deal with. So I'm not saying don't go to your strong friends, but also just be cognizant of the fact that if you're coming to them all the time with your problems, depending what your problems are, maybe you should really look at why these problems are coming to you.
I agree. I mean, it's not, and I want to be clear, it's not that I'm saying this, that men should not work on themselves. Of course, everyone should work on themselves. What I'm trying to do, and you're right, women have so much that we deal with already. It's like the entire world needs to sit down and have a conversation with each other, right? Everybody just literally, the entire world needs to sit down, have a few mediators in the middle, and just have a conversation, because we are missing the mark on what each other need, what we believe each other are working with. We are perceiving things with our own intelligence, our own minds, on what we think the man is up against. Oh, well, you don't have that much going on. Your job is pretty easy. You don't have, we have no idea what they're battling. Likewise, they may look at us and be like, oh, well, all y'all do is just sit up there and look pretty. You don't have much to do in the world. But they don't understand everything that comes along with just being a woman. I can list a whole list for you guys. But it's like we all need to have a conversation, right? I want a man to. I got a man. Hold on first.
I want a man too.
Hold on. Let me make it clear.
Yeah, you have a man. I want a man. I'm raising my hand. Thank you.
I mean, let's be clear. TK want a man. I have a man, but I want a man to call me and tell me. That was funny. What are we missing? What are we missing? Why can't these men, what is it that you need from women, right? What is it that you need when you're on the verge of opening up and you want to say whatever it is that you say? Is it that you think that she's going to react a certain way? Is it that society has already taught you that, nah, this is not going to go right for me? What is it that keeps you from, you're right on the precipice, but what keeps you from going over, and then you just go back and you go ahead and you pin it up. You pin it up, and then you're dealing with all that emotion on the inside. Andy, did you want to jump in on this?
I'm good.
Okay. He put you in. Anytime Andy wants to get in, I'll be looking. And so that's what I really want to know, because, again, I think this is it's so layered. It's so layered because, yes, a part of it is that you want to feel safe with us and that you can open up with us. That is a part of it. But women, we also have a part to play. As much as we say, like, yeah, I want you to be able to talk to me and I want you to be vulnerable with me, we have our own issues that we deal with. We have our own traumas that we deal with that sort of come out. That's why multiple people over here in the YouTube chat are saying, we don't want it. Yeah, we don't mind coming out, but we don't want it to be thrown back in our face. We don't want it to be a setup. That comes from a trauma where we just have not gotten over something in it. We have a tendency to bring things back up, and again, it's no longer safe. And that's on both sides. But right now, I'm trying to give the men a little bit of love. I do want to jump in on this quick conversation. Pretty Brown Mimi says we're gonna like pivot a little bit and talk about Jeezy and this Nia Long situation where he says that real ninjas don't cheat. She says, I think seeing Nia in Jeezy's interview perhaps opens the door for a soft place for Black men and therapy for Black men and Black women. Real quick, I thought that conversation was it happened between two unlikely people. I love that it happened, but it was between two unlikely people. But I thought that was beautiful at the same time. Should we be able to see more conversations like that between a Black man, a Black woman, maybe to empower other people to kind of get on board and start sharing their vulnerabilities?
That's a loaded question. One, because it's entertainment, right? Because I'm willing to bet if we do a deep dive, there are conversations like that happening. The only thing is those conversations are not getting, the press. It's like you can refer back to the Breakfast Club. Anytime they brought in, and let's leave out the real estate part of it, but anytime they brought in people, experts that can actually help us in our lives, those views don't do well. Opposed to we bring in, the celebrities that have the most amount of drama. So I'm willing to bet those conversations do happen. So, and I do like those conversations, but however, coming from a entertainment perspective, we have way too many podcasts out here in these streets.
You ain't lying about that.
It's hard to keep up. So,
you're right. You are right about that.
Keep it to the professionals.
I want to get to this call from SC from Atlanta, Georgia. What's going on, SC?
Hey, what's up, Rob?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm good. How's it going over there? The show is quite an intriguing topic.
Thank you. I want you to jump in on this. I mean, are you calling in response to my question, or are you calling in just with a thought about the entire conversation overall?
Kind of both.
Okay.
Can you refresh me on just so I'm answering
So my
the
question
right question?
is what are we missing, and what do women need to, what is keeping Black men from going over that cliff when you're right on the edge of opening up to a woman or opening up in the world? I know I'm talking about relationship between men and women right now, but when you're just on the verge of opening up and being vulnerable, there's something that keeps you from holding back. As a whole, this is, I'm generally speaking, that there's something that's holding you back from actually opening up. Is it because you think this particular person is going to they're gonna set you up, they're gonna throw something back in your face, they're not gonna receive it? Or has society taught you that, you know what, it's not safe out here, so let me bottle that up?
Okay, quick question. Are we talking about in the context of a relationship or just Black men and Black women?
SC, we got 10 more minutes of this show, man. I'm gonna need you to just jump in somewhere. Wherever you want to take it, I just need you to jump in somewhere.
Okay, I mean, if you're talking about just in general, I think you got to read the room.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I like I said, I just wanted to make sure I was answering the right question. But in either way, I think you got to read the room. Like if you wind up with somebody that you can't express yourself with, then maybe everything is not meant to be shared. I don't think that. I don't think it's practical. I know it sounds ideal to, like, you know, share everything, be transparent with your partner, but I think a lot of people find themselves in the reality that that's not practical.
Okay. So you're saying that it has more to do with the person you're with than it does you personally. What I'm trying to get at is for specifically speaking as a man, and maybe you've evolved, and maybe I shouldn't be asking you this question specifically, but you're a man, you could probably understand. My question is, what is keeping men, what is keeping you, what is the people that you know from opening up? From what is that, and what is it that you need in order to land on a soft space? Is it that, you know, listen, the world has taught me that it'll eat me up if I say something, or is it this particular partner that I'm with? You know, she's burned me in the past, and now I'm afraid to kind of open up about my feelings.
Yeah, I think more times than not, just like women desire safety and security, I think that it's not really acknowledged enough that men kind of need that too, but it just translates differently. Like men want peace, men want, you know, harmony. Like we want a safe space too. We want a place of comfort. You know what I'm saying? And the times when we do choose to share something to open up, if that doesn't go right, then it's like you either keep it to yourself or you share it somewhere else, or you lose your leverage. Yeah. I mean, you got to make a choice. Yeah.
I hear you on that. Definitely appreciate you calling in. SC from Atlanta, Georgia, you got to call in more often. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Good to hear from you. All right, take care. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that too. I definitely agree. But let's go ahead and I want to keep the conversation going. So TK, I don't want you to go anywhere. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, I'm Damian Young. I'm chilling with Robin on the Raw Report.
You're inside the Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Los Angeles, Black men are dying from preventable health causes and diseases, but you can be part of the solution. Join us Saturday, November 11th at the Michelle and Barack Obama Sports Complex next to Dorsey High for the African American Male Wellness 5K Walk and Run. Walk for your brother, walk for your father, walk for your son, walk for your uncle, walk for yourself. This is a free, family-friendly event for the entire community. We'll have free health screenings, vendors, kids' activities, and more. We'll see you at 8 a.m.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. Today I spoke with Tatiana, a community manager for JP Morgan Chase.
Thank you so much. Yes, my name is Tatiana Roberts. I am a community manager for JP Morgan Chase. I have to honestly say that this has been the most fulfilling position that I've ever had, where I get to give back to the community because I saw my mom's struggles. That's really what fuels what I do to make sure that that the community has all the access to the resources that my mother didn't have.
So for the mother who's in business, what are 3 quick tips you can give to ensure that they're on the right path to accessing financial support from a bank like Chase?
Say number 1, just make sure that you're checking your credit on a consistent basis and taking action to either fix your credit, maintain your credit, or rebuild your credit. The second thing would be budget. I know that B word is kind of like ugly for, right? A lot of people don't like that B word, but it has to be done. We need to tell our money where to go. The last thing is to build a network of supporters that are going to lift you up.
The community building here in Crenshaw is that network. So visit the Chase Community Center on Crenshaw and Vernon. Meet a banker today. Tell them about your business. I'm Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
You're inside the Raw
Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you are a regular listener to the show, you know I would normally play for y'all a Who's Got Next, an artist, but I can't do it. This conversation is too good. And I want to get to a couple of we have a couple of callers, but we have only a few minutes left. I want to be clear. But let's go ahead and get to Troy from Chatsworth, California. Hey, Troy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm
so
wonderful.
I want to help you.
Yep.
I want to help you out here because my own journey experienced a lot of the things that you're talking about. And for me, what helped me was being in a position where I could find a strong man that I could open up with first to be able to articulate my thoughts, my emotions, and then being able to bring them to my wife the right way once I got help sorting them out. And so if you think about our family structures, our fathers were removed out of the home.
Yeah.
So we don't know how that relationship is supposed to work man to man, to where, you don't feel like, well, you're a punk because you're talking the way you're talking or you're expressing emotions the way you are. But for me, what helped me was being able to get around some very strong men that I could confide in, and they helped me sort out my emotions to then be able to come to my wife and relay what I could relay, because if I relayed what was going on in my mind, it probably would melt her,
Troy,
the thought pattern that I was in.
You just gave me an epiphany, and I appreciate you so much for that. That's something that I hadn't even thought of. I was really just kind of thinking more so on the woman's perspective, but you saying that you finding a strong man to open up to, I mean, that before you could open up to your wife is to me mind-blowing. Thank you so much for the call, Troy. I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and get to Jamal. We have a few minutes left. Jamal, I want to get to your comment, though. Hey.
Hey, good evening, and I just like to say there are many men in recovery, and I won't say what particular program they are in or whatever, but these programs exist, but they don't exist on a public level, in the media and all that stuff. But there are plenty of men who are reaching out to other men to get through and deal with their mental issues, and also go ahead and make that move to get that extra help they need to recover from the mental aspects of their character that have, caused them to have many problems.
Wow.
So I'll just say that and leave that for now.
Yeah. Well,
okay?
thank you for coming in and dropping that mic. We appreciate you, Jamal. TK, wow, I hadn't even thought about that. Men finding other men to open up to first before they can find a soft place in a woman. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, that's where the barbershop comes in. a really good barbershop. That's where the barbershop, there was a show that I was producing, and it was men talking about men stuff, and they were talking about the importance of the barbershop because men are just now, I feel like Black women have been doing the mental health and going to therapists for a couple of years now, and I think Black men are now starting to buy into the idea. But the barbershop, I mean, there was one gentleman, he was older, he said it was the church. When the men's group, they would go and they would have a men's group or a men's thing, and then they'd feel comfortable enough to, speak on those things. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
But,
Whew. Yeah, that's a lot for me to take in. That is this is a great conversation and one that is coming to a close so soon. TK, let everybody know where they can find you online.
You can find me everywhere on all the things at TK Trinidad.
I appreciate you so much. This was a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to having our next conversation, TK. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Have a good one.
Wow. That's a lot to think about. I appreciate you guys for calling in. I thank you to the men for calling in because I really wanted to hear from the men. This was, to me, dedicated to the men tonight because I want you to know that there are people out here who are doing the work. There are women and apparently men out here doing the work to become better ourselves so that you may, if you are struggling, find a soft, safe place to land with us and within the world ultimately so we can, at the end of the day, it's about teaching the younger ones, right? It's about caring for the next generation. And so that's something that we need to push. So I appreciate y'all. I got a lot to think about tonight. We right back at it tomorrow, though, and you already know. Don't touch the dial because Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, is up next, and you know he's going to be bringing the fire like he always does. You guys, I am your host, Robin Ayers. Make sure you join me here tomorrow. Like, comment, and subscribe on that YouTube. We appreciate it. And remember, today and every day forward to be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Black New York Attorney General Letitia James is resting her civil case against former President Trump, his adult sons, and their